Hello, welcome. This is Business Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studios here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Coming up, Central Bank of Nigeria targets stronger digital economy as e-Naira grows by 190%. Oyo State Governor Engineers Seyi Makinde present a 310 billion naira budget to Oyo State Assembly. And Kenya plans to spend 353.6 billion shillings on electricity supply by 2041. And finally, U.S. Central Bank hikes interest rate by 0.75%, a fourth time in a row since 2008. Thank you for joining us. Now I am Franco Malape, and now the Nigerian government has approved tax exemption and rebate for 5 years and single-digit loan interest rate for sport investors under the National Sport Industry Policy NSIP. This was disclosed in a statement by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting held on Wednesday. The policy will also support athletes through an independent athletes welfare fund. The National Sport Industry Policy was proposed by the Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. Some of the approved incentives and outlined in the policy document include the following, and it includes tax exemption and rebate for 5 years for investors in the value chain of sport, land provision and waiver for certain fees on lands meant for sports, among others. And in the meantime, Central Bank of Nigeria is targeting a stronger digital economy to support the growth of the financial systems. This is even as the digital currency e-Naira records about 190.1% growth in transactions relative to its level when it was launched on October 25, 2021. Speaking at the Central Bank of Nigeria Executive Seminar entitled Digitalization of Money and Monetary Policy Nigeria, held in Abuja, Deputy Governor Economic Policy of CBN, Dr. Kingsley Obiora, said the volume of e-Naira in circulation was around 2.1 billion naira, with about 3,320 merchants successfully registered on the platform across the country, including ShopRite, Sahad Stores, AA Rano, among others. According to the Deputy Governor, the CBN was primed to reach lofty heights in the adoption and integration of its digital currency in collaboration with the federal government and other relevant stakeholders as it continued to unlock new phases and possibilities in facilitating a reduction in cash processing cost and creating an efficient payment ecosystem in Nigeria. Power generation on the national grid increased by 834.8 megawatts between Monday and Wednesday morning, hitting a high of 4,836 or 863.7 megawatts at 6 a.m. Wednesday. Data obtained from the Abuja headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Power show that the grid recorded an off-peak power generation of 4,028.9 megawatts on Monday. The energy generated Monday was put at 103,049.22 megawatts hour, while what was sent out in the same day was 101.864.04 megawatts hour. All the figures moved up on Tuesday as both off-peak and peak power generation were around 4,082 megawatts and 4,803 megawatts respectively. Similarly, energy generated rose by the 108.5, that's 108,582.78 megawatts hour on Tuesday when compared to what was recorded the previous day, as what was sent out on Tuesday also increased respectively. Now, MTN and Airtel made 1.92 trillion naira from calls and data between January and September 2022. This is according to data from the financial results of MTN Nigeria Communications PLC and Airtel Africa's Nigeria subsidiary. This is an 18.27% increase from 1.62 trillion naira that was earned by the telecoms communications operators on calls and data in the corresponding period of 2021. MTN Nigeria revealed that its customers spent 753.78 billion naira and 549.66 billion naira on calls and data respectively, while Airtel Nigeria customers spent 342.7 billion naira. That's about 780 million US dollars and 274.61 billion naira on calls and data accordingly. In its result, MTN stated that inflation, supply chain uncertainties, and foreign exchange scarcity were putting financial pressure on consumers and businesses. Away from there now, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, Thursday presented a budget of 310 billion naira to the State House of Assembly for the 2023 fiscal year. The 2023 appropriation bill tagged the budget of sustainable development target 83 billion naira as internally generated revenue. Makinde noted that his administration in the last 3.5 years has moved the state forward from poverty to prosperity, which he said has driven home accelerated development for the state. He promised to continue to deliver good governance to the people of Oyo State. Now we'll bring you more details on that reports later in subsequent bulletins. Away from there now, from an economic perspective, Lagos State has been tasked to improve on its importation system to ease operations for residents and businesses. This was the point put forward by an economist, Martin Omobude, while speaking on iBrandTV's Business Breakfast on Thursday. He also called on government to apply an approach that will eliminate forgery and extortion in the state.
The issue. If you look at the DRC, for instance, which was created under Fashola's administration or regime, it was part of the agenda in order to address transportation issues in Lagos, which at least the subsequent government improved upon and all of that. But the issue again is that an effective transport system that will be managed solely by the government can be visible at this point in time in our nation's history, when we know as a matter of fact that the government of the day also generates a lot of money from these transporters, private transporters, or from these commercial motorists who are being controlled by touts and hoodlums. So if government is able to put an administration in place to manage the transport system in Lagos, it would solve some of this problem. But it is very difficult because the government is also part of the people in Lagos, or the government is the one that is encouraging indirectly the kind of menace we're having in Lagos when it comes to the commercial motorists and then the government transport system. So ultimately the government should be in charge of everything. The government cannot tell us as a people that if they want an effective transport system, by removing those touts, it's job for the boys. And so okay, let government manage everything. Let us put you as park manager and say give account to government. This is what sincerely that you are going to charge the people per ticket, and once you do that in a day, that ends. I think that is the beginning of the end of this particular problem that we have right now. But if the government is able to come out boldly, have the willpower to say, okay, despite job for the boys or those people who have used as talk during elections and people who use to achieve certain purposes, we want a better system. Let it be managed this way. The government is imposing a particular fine of 200 naira, 500 naira per commercial vehicle per day from one route to the other, and that ends it. No further instructions. I think we'll be getting there.
And now, amidst biting fuel scarcity in some parts of the country, the Nigeria Customs Service has said that it's intercepted 28,735 liters of smuggled premium motor spirits in Lagos waterways. Addressing journalists recently, the Custom Area Controller in charge of the Western Marine Command of the service, Controller Abubakar Romano said that the PMS, which was equivalent to a truckload of the product, was worth 5 million naira. He also said that the command in 4 months seized other contrabands, including 29,660 parcels of cannabis and 1,575 bags of rice with a duty-paid value of 2.2 billion naira. Given a breakdown of the seizures, Omar said they seized cannabis sativa weighed about 16,637 kilogram and was estimated to be worth about 2.06 billion naira, while the 1,575 bags of foreign parboiled rice, equivalent to more than 2 trailer loads of rice worth about 39.375 million naira, were also intercepted. Hence, the total worth of rice and cannabis seized was valued at 4.26 billion naira. According to him, 28,735 liters of PMS contained in about 1,077 kegs of 25 liters size was equivalent to a tanker load value at 4.9 million, and other seizures were about 7 wooden boats with the 4 engines as means of conveyance worth about 13,750. That's about 13.7 million naira, and 2 sacks of suspected gunpowder. The WMC custom boss, however, said that arresting suspects connected with waterway smuggling activities had been very difficult for the officers, as the defaulters usually divide into the waters. Still to come after the break, Bank of England set for biggest rate hike in 33 years. Well, we'll bring you details and more news stories after this commercial break. Please stay with us.